And then the other thing that I wanted to make sure that we talked about before we get into
Let's
Raw
do it.
was this has been a hot topic over the last 2 days, was the rumored main event for Bad Blood. That was circulating
Let's talk
online.
about
Of
it.
course, it's dirt sheets that are claiming it, so it really just depends on what dirt sheets that you trust or whatever. But the current rumor says that it is going to be the tag match with Cody and Roman versus Solo and Jacob, and that is not well received so far. Most people are saying that's ridiculous. The main event should by far be Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell match. That is a story that has been going on for the last 9 months. There's no reason that that shouldn't be the main event. To which then dirt sheets came out today saying, okay, no, actually WWE is claiming the main event isn't solid. They haven't decided yet. And I'm like, no, you're probably still going to go with the bloodline stuff as the main event. You're just trying to get people to like calm down about it. And then it's like, once they're already watching Bad Blood, they're not going to care what the main event is because they're already watching, you know? That's how I feel. I think it's inevitably going to be the main event simply because it's Roman Reigns and it's his first match in 6 months, and they're going to try and hype that up as if that is somehow, I mean, I understand why that's exciting for people, and I'm not saying it's not something that I'm interested in seeing, not just because it's his first match in 6 months, because of that partnership with Cody and it's going
That's a
against
whole
Jacob and Solo. I get it. But if we're talking about storylines, and it depends on how invested fans are in storylines, and that is what Triple H has said. That's why, okay, the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin main evented night 1 of WrestleMania 39 because that was the hot story. It wasn't going to be Rhea versus Charlotte, right? Even though that's what people wanted. Triple H is like, no, people are more invested in this. Okay, well, if we're going off that, couldn't you say that people are a little bit more invested in CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre and a Hell in a Cell than they are the cage match? Or I'm sorry, the tag match?
It just makes more sense. Okay. I get it. You have to have, or you should have, the WWE Undisputed Champion and the biggest name that pretty much carried you with Roman Reigns, the biggest story that's brought you blood. Like, yeah, that's a main event. However, when you think of the now and what is the biggest, hottest story right now, the hottest story right now is not the bloodline. It's still good, but it's not the hottest. The hottest story right now is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Fans have been craving for them to just get inside Hell in a Cell and beat the living shit out of each other.
And they
Both
promised
men,
it back to
they
back
promise
weeks.
blood.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's in the show's name, so
Yes.
get it, makes sense. I'm glad that we're alluding to it and promising that we're going to see some color. Why not keep that and save that for the main event?
Well, and as we said, it's really weird to think about a match with such a significant stipulation not going on last. Like, that's weird to think about this being a Hell in a Cell match in the middle of the show or the co-main event, and they raise the cage to then do a tag match. Like, this would be a different argument, I think, and I'm not saying I would feel differently, but I think it would be more of a valid argument for people in favor of a Roman Reigns match if it was a singles match. If this was like Cody versus Roman part 3 or whatever, right? And they were doing it at Bad Blood, then you might have an argument to be like, okay, well, it's for the championship. It's the first time they're in the ring again since Mania, whatever. That's an argument. But like in tag matches, you don't even know how much you're going to see from each person involved in the match because it's a tag match. And I guess people are invested, of course, in what is going to happen with Roman and Cody, but like, is that enough to trump what CM Punk and Drew McIntyre have been doing for the last 9 months? I don't think so. I think that's unfair. What are you telling to your talent that has been working their ass off? And granted, Punk had been sidelined for a long time, so I feel like this would be more of a slap in the face to Drew of anything, because I feel like he's done enough, and Punk, now that he's back, has done enough to earn that main event spot at a at a pay-per-view that's called Bad Blood. It's not Royal Rumble. It's not SummerSlam. It's not WrestleMania. It's not Survivor Series. You know what I mean? It's not one of the big four. So I don't think that Roman, it's like, oh, just because he's there, that automatically means he needs to main event. I don't think that should be a thing, but and I agree with, is it Jackson? Okay, I'm sorry, I can't read. The only way the tag match main events is if there's an angle or something that happens at the end of the match, just like Royal Rumble. But the thing is like, what would that be? What
Rock.
would the angle? And I mean,
that's the only person I could see that it would be like, all right, I get why they're main eventing, but like Jimmy Uso coming back,
I know.
I don't think that needs to be saved for the main event.
Or them introducing another bloodline member. Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't.
Yeah, we don't need that to main event the show.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think, yeah, it's like if The Rock is involved, we won't know that this made sense to be the main event until it happens. And again, it depends on how he gets involved also, because it could be very anticlimactic, and then that's not cool either, you know, because like I think also everything that comes with a Hell in a Cell match, people are going to be so like into it. They're definitely not going to have it be I feel like they definitely would not have it be a co-main event, because how do you go from adrenaline to another match that you want them to be like that?
So much adrenaline for.
Yeah. Like, are they going to open with it? Are they going to open with the Hell in a Cell?
That would be such a mistake.
I mean, because otherwise they would have to put on like Damian versus Finn next, and I don't want that to happen. But that's not a title match. You know what I mean?
It's not a title match. It's just it's the Monday Night Raw feud, like A story.
Yeah.
A B story within the A story. Like, there's so many different branches.
The story isn't bad. I think that we need to see The Rock's involvement sooner rather than later. I think that is what's going to make it spicier, and that's what people are going to be involved in. I think part of the problem is, and I'm not trying to just add to criticism on Roman, but he hasn't been around.
He's been here.
Yeah, so I think that kind of hurts it too. That was the issue that I had from the beginning of after he lost the title, and then them trying to shift over for Solo to kind of like step in his shoes. I didn't like how they did it, because I felt like Solo was set up to fail. He needed to have like Roman there or something, whether it was going to start the drama then or not. I think that he would have been better served, you know, not losing a ton of matches before he tried to take over as tribal chief, but he probably would have benefited from Roman being there after Mania, and it didn't. So I think that Roman needs to be there every week. You need to be here and to be an active person again. You're not the champion anymore. You can't be taking weeks off and like expect that everybody is going to care. Like you can't do that.
Should be taking weeks off when you're the champ anyways.
I don't think is a bad idea either from Richard. Solo should pin Roman. I kind of I would be interested to see this. I think that they should do that because they let Jay pin Roman, right? I think if they're really trying to like make Solo be a bad guy or a trusted bad guy, then they should let him pin Roman. I feel like if Roman is going to say okay to someone pinning him, he would be okay with one of his family members pinning him. You know,
that's true.
I think that would work. I mean, that's the inevitable, right? And I mean, Rock could even come out at that point and like celebrate with him and whatever, you know what I mean? And be like, haha, see, I told you, like he is the real tribal chief, whatever.